Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I don't know how to describe this episode, but the one thing that I can gather from this episode, the one good thing I can gather from this episode, is that it is going to get crazy good. It is going to get crazy good. Okay, I should warn you right off the bat. This isn't the episode. But moving forward, they seem like they're going to be setting stuff up. Um, for some odd reason, and I don't understand why, Robert can't get the WSB to help get Trina and Spencer and everyone back. Talking about something about jurisdiction, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, aren't they kind of like Interpol? Like, they don't really, they have no jurisdiction. It's just like, wherever is needed, this is where we're going. So I don't understand, like, oh, we can't go there because of jurisdiction. It's like, wait, what? Like, so now you got to literally get a bunch of civilians like Curtis and Laura and Drew and eventually Valentine to head up this search to sit there and stop Victor. Because the WSB is just like, whoa, hey, listen, we can't really, like go there. What? But they have Robert to sit there and stay to keep pressure on the bureau to, pretty much kind of get off their ass and actually do something. Um, I'm really trying to come up with some good stuff that actually happened in this episode. Molly, Molly. Okay, so it was kind of interesting with this scene between Molly and TJ and Alexis. This scene was kind of interesting because it really kind of got more in depth about her character as far as what she wanted to sit there and get pregnant, and now she's not really too sure, and she's doing the one thing that a lot of people do. And here's the thing, if this episode didn't teach anyone anything else, is to not self-diagnose. Okay, don't go on the internet and they're trying to look for, oh, this what I might have and this what I might have, and because 9 times out of 10 there's a lot of misinformation out there, and if you're not really careful, you're not a doctor or anything like that, you're not a trained profession, you're going to wind up getting yourself more worried than you need to. And that's what she was sitting there doing for the most part. She was sitting there going on the internet, looking and stuff like that, and she was sitting there wondering, because a lot of people, a lot of young people, just a lot of people in general who feel like they're healthy, isn't it? They're like, why did this happen to me? And like, why am I having all these medical issues and stuff like that? She's like, oh, I'm a vegan and stuff like that. I was like, listen, bro, being a vegan is not going to stop you from having health issues. It's like Smith is saying, well, I go to church every day, so bad stuff shouldn't happen to me. It's like, no, that's not that's not how that works. Um, but Alexis is there to sit there and calm her down. TJ left and he came back, and um, just to give those two some time to sit there and talk. So that was a nice little scene. So I guess Ethan is now Robin Hood. Like, literally, he's sitting there stealing from the rich and giving it to the poor and charities and stuff like that. And he's kind of on the move. You got a bounty and people coming after him and stuff like that. So it's just a nice little way to say, yeah, he ain't staying for too long. He may pass him for a little bit, just be here around or whatever, but he's not going to stay. Now, this is the first scene that we really got to see any sort of acting from him. And as far as is concerned, wasn't bad. He has the accent. He playing the part really well. Ethan has always been like this young renegade sort of Luke in a sense of being an anti-hero. So his acting was fine. I know there's a lot of people that is wishing that the other guy came back, but that didn't happen. And this guy's not bad. I don't know what people were sitting there thinking. Because, when you really start to think about it, it's not like the other guy who did, acting was just like, oh my God, he was phenomenal. He was practically like the next Shakespeare. No, the character wasn't like he made that character his own, and that's going to be his own style. And same thing with this guy. So it just, as far as him being an actor, or just him being, as new Ethan for this limited run, oh, he did fine. You know, all him and Holly did was catch up. Holly did talk about how she has plans in Port Charles, and yeah, that was pretty much about it. Now, Felicia and Tracy, I gotta sit there and say, one, yeah, it was really great to sit there and have Tracy back, but be honest, the conversation really didn't go anywhere. There's something about Felicia that at times it just like she's not a terrible character, and I'm pretty sure she had these really grand scenes back in the day, but like I don't know, it's something about like there's nothing talking about Luke, and Tracy's kind of upset because she's like, yo, you left me out of the loop, and I'm listening to trying to find, been trying to look into this whole investigation for a hot minute. I've been doing this by myself, and then you talk about their family. They're just pretty much catching up at this point. It doesn't really go anywhere. There's something about Felicia's character that just doesn't fully work for me. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's the scene that happened before where, you know, Tracy Smith, they're trying to get Ethan, and Felicia's like, "Oh, Tracy, what are you doing here?" Like, why would you say that for? Like, this isn't, my whole thing is like, well, Felicia, this isn't her first rodeo at this type of adventure. So why are they sitting there playing her off as the dingbat? Well, back in the day, she used to be having some crazy adventures. Like, it just makes no sense. But, and then we got another, well, I wouldn't sit there and say it was a pointless scene, but it was kind of a boring scene, to be honest. It's just pretty much Brooklyn and Carly and Michael and Olivia's, and they're talking about the wedding and the plans and stuff like that for a wedding that a lot of people do not really care about, to be honest. I have not, I'm going to sit there and ask tonight, or I can sit there and ask right now, but I can ask both times, does anyone actually care about Mike and Willow's wedding? Does anyone care? I don't even think people actually care about them as a couple, let alone as far as this whole wedding thing goes. Ned is still sitting there getting on Valentine's ass about, you showing up, you being the CEO, you putting out a statement, you not handling business, you're not making ELQ a priority. And, him just really sitting there backtracking his whole, oh, I should have went with the family and this, that, and the third. And Michael was there. He didn't really do too much of anything. It was like he could have not been in the room and the scene would just went, well, exactly how the scene went. He does get a hold of Valentine, and Valentine's like, yo, listen, I'm busy. Here by Anna's side, and Ned's like, yeah, I mean, I get that, that's all cool and well, but like, our stock is plummeting. I like this rich house. I would like to continue this rich lifestyle, and I get you all caught up in your little feels and everything with your boo and everything, but you need to kind of get back on the ball. He talks about, oh yeah, we have a responsibility towards our employees and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you do, but let's be honest. Yeah, yeah, come on, you don't want this fun train to stop. Let's not sit there and try to act like, oh, we're doing good for our employees. Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure it's like 9% of why you're sitting there being such a dick to him when you know that his girl got shot and he's standing by her side. He hangs up. He's like, yo, listen. Also, there's a point where Laura snipped the ass and Valentine if he wants to go. It's like, no, I can't. I gotta sit there and stuff by Anna's side. I was like, oh yes, that's great. More of these scenes I can't wait to see. And then towards the end, it's like, he wants to go. It's like, okay, good, good. Portia coming in asking. Listen, I get that she's worried, so I'm gonna sit there and give her a bit of slack. Unlike the BS that she was there spouting out her mouth before, talking about it's all Spencer's fault that Trina is held hostage. It's like, no, that's Trina's fault that she got held hostage by following Spencer. You blaming Spencer makes zero sense. And on top of that, boo, you lied to this girl for like 19 years. You might want to just take it down a notch. But she goes in there and she pretty much asks, how dangerous is Victor? Well, you just asked a woman that got shot by Victor on how dangerous is he. But Anna does calm her down and is like, listen, Trina's gonna be fine because he needs to keep Spencer in line. So, you know, he's what I'm saying? Like she's gonna be fine because of Spencer, just to keep him in line. To kind of ease her fears a little bit. And Curtis decides to leave. He writes her a note because he's going on a mission as well. So he wrote her a note while she was asleep, and they got a plane. I mean, they got a helicopter and everything like that. And Drew, he came back to go get his gear. And long story short, he was like, "Yeah, well, it's a good thing we're not going through airport security because what's in that, what's in that bag." Um, so Diane comes in there. Diane comes in Robert's office, and Robert is happy to see her. He's like, "Oh, cool, you guys surprised me. What is it?" And Diane's like, "Oh yeah, here's the Dracula bill." I was like, "Is this like a is this like a joke?" Yo, you really actually gave him the bill? Like, how much money do you make where you guys sit there and give him the bill? But okay, sure, he's all ready to sit there and cozy up and start trying to kiss her again. I'm like, bro, she literally just gave you a bill, a dry cleaning bill. I was like, listen, don't get me wrong, Diane is fire, but like you kind of spawn a mood a little bit. Of course, they seem like they're about to do stuff or whatever. And then Holly comes in the room, and she's smiling and everything, and like, oh, you. Seems like Diane is probably a little bit perturbed in the previews. Not being kept in the loop because apparently he needs to sit there and run everything by her now. Because they had like one kiss, and they hung out a couple of times, so that automatically means that full disclosure, because reasons. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. This episode was well, yeah. I wish this episode was better. I know a lot of people sit there and say, well, it's a Monday, so, the episode can be action packed. I'm like, yeah, but my whole thing is when I look at these episodes, I'm always sitting there thinking about a couple of things. And the biggest one is move your best foot forward. Just keep in mind, there's one point in time we actually had 10 soap operas. We have 4, and only 3 of them are on the air. Sit there and say that some of these episodes, some of these shows don't need to step it up is pretty much an understatement. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything else that happened in this episode. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. But like always, if I did miss anything, we'll talk about it in the live stream tonight. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be going live for about an hour because tomorrow is what I like to call Hell Day. So, yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.